Hi, it's Jenny with Jenny's Wreath Boutique, and today I'm going to be answering all of your questions. I am so excited! A couple days ago, I asked you guys on Instagram to ask me any of your Etsy or wreath making questions, and I also did a community tab here on YouTube, and you guys asked some really great questions, so I'm really excited to answer them. It is a beautiful fall day outside today. I've got my window over here and it's dreary and I love it. I've got my water, coffee, and my favorite fall color. So I'm ready. Let's go. Just hold on. I tried to organize these questions in categories because I saw a lot of the same kind of questions coming in. So I like to be organized somewhat. My husband might disagree with that. So I organized the questions best I could. All right, the first question is, when you make your 19-inch wreath, you're using a 14-inch grapevine base, correct? Yes, I am. I measure the diameter from leaf tip to leaf tip about. I mean, if there's some crazy stray leaves, I don't count that, but basically how wide it is total. And a follow-up to that question is, does that same wreath go into an 18-inch box? Yes, it does. And then she talked about how she had shipped about 6 wreaths, I believe. So that's great. Congratulations, by the way. And that shipping was expensive. Yes, shipping is expensive. Sadly. If I'm shipping a wreath in an 18 by 18 by 5 or by 4 inch box, I can keep that with USPS and it will be about $15 per wreath, depending on where I ship it. Sometimes it's less, sometimes it's a tad bit more. There you go. Next question. Do you use Etsy shipping? Yes, I do. Do you always go with Etsy shipping labels? Yes, I do. Wow, it's pretty easy. I do that because you get the bulk business rate. It's the same as if you go through Pirate Ship for the size I ship, or if you go through ShipStation or another shipping service. Etsy does the same bulk business price. So Etsy's simple, everything's right there. If you ship from multiple, like if you have a Shopify or your own website, and you have Etsy, it might be, and you get lots of, and Amazon Handmade even, if you have multiple areas where you sell your product, it might be easier to use something like ShipStation, although that does cost money every month depending on how much you sell. That might be easier to organize it, but for me, I sell only on Etsy, and Etsy shipping is easy for me. Since we're talking about shipping, if you have watched my How I Ship a Wreath video, that will help you. I also talked about shipping as one of the tips on what I wish I knew before I started Etsy. And yeah, those might be helpful for you too if you're not getting enough information here, okay? I go into more detail there. Also, how do you figure out how to do online shipping? Like actual step-by-step how-to. If you guys want me to do like an actual step-by-step how-to like on Etsy, maybe I can. I'm not sure. There's so much private information. I might be blurring out the whole screen. I don't know. But yeah, I set up shipping profiles there. It's so easy. It's really quick. And once you've done it once, you'll be like, okay, I don't know why I was stressed out about this because it's really simple. If you guys want me to do something like that, I can. There's probably already something out there if I'm being honest, but I will look into it and I might come up with a video with a step-by-step if you guys are interested. Okay, do you have to purchase a scale to determine the weight of your wreaths for shipping? Yes, since I do all my shipping from home, it's important to know how much they weigh so you can accurately put the information online so you can ship your wreaths. I just use a kitchen scale. It was $10 or $15. I will link my scale in the description so you can get the exact one, but there's other ones. I like a kitchen scale. It's not even a shipping scale. I like the kitchen scale because it measures down like to the 1/1000th of an ounce. It's very accurate because it's used to measuring ingredients, so I like shipping scales. I mean, I like kitchen scales for that reason. I also talked about that in my shipping a wreath video. I showed you how I do it. How do you price your wreaths for free shipping? I've shipped a lot of wreaths, so I can tell by the size. I know what box I'll have to use. I know how much the wreath weighs. So by now, I know just off the top of my head how much it's going to cost. And I know that it'll cost a lot less if it's going to California because I'm in Idaho. I'm pretty close to California. And it'll cost a lot more if it's going to New York or Florida or anywhere over there. So, okay, for example, like the 18 by 18 by 5 inch box, about 3 pounds, that will cost me $15.74 to ship to New York. And it will cost me, depending on different places in California, that same wreath will cost me about $10. So that's with the Etsy's bulk price, which is about 20% off. I just kind of average that and add my average shipping cost for that specific size and weight of wreath into my wreath price. I hope that answers your question. Next question. We are moving on from shipping to more marketing. What has been your most successful method of marketing for your Etsy shop? So I do try to bring as much traffic to my Etsy shop as possible on my own, although Etsy still brings the bulk of my traffic. I just checked this morning and my traffic from Etsy is 65% and my traffic from myself or any other traffic is 35%. So even though I put all this effort into getting my own traffic, Etsy still blows me away with how much they bring in. That's why I love Etsy and I'm willing to pay their fees. Couldn't think of the word. With that said, my best traffic sources come from Pinterest and Instagram. And Pinterest, I'm not a professional at Pinterest by any means. I don't put that much effort into Pinterest. I'll be honest. I know what to do, but I don't always do what I need to do. But even with my bare bones effort, I still drive a lot of traffic to my Etsy shop from Pinterest. If you guys are interested in how I make my Pinterest pins and use that to drive traffic to my Etsy shop, let me know and maybe I can do a more detailed video. But right now, because algorithms change, but right now Pinterest likes 5 original pins every day. So I don't do that. I do maybe 5 original pins a week. But I need to be better at this because Pinterest really is a powerhouse for getting traffic to your Etsy shop. And I also use Instagram and that does pretty well. I've been on Instagram for years. I mean, I'm not great at Instagram. I do my best. It's fun. I love interacting with you guys. I feel like it's a great way to show the behind the scenes and what I'm up to. And I kind of show off my new wreaths and things like that. And it kind of keeps me motivated on making new designs and things like that. It's not a huge traffic getter source. Instagram's not a huge traffic source for me, even though I have a lot more followers on Instagram than I do Pinterest. Pinterest still drives more traffic than my Instagram. I hope that answers that question. At first, was it hard to sell your wreaths? Yes. My first year was kind of a dud. If you watched my my video, how much money I make on Etsy, I talk all about that, and a big part of it was I didn't put myself out there. I didn't use any social media really for my brand. Yeah, if I knew what I knew now, I think it would have been a much different year, much better, but I wasn't great at it, and I don't think your year has to be as bad as mine. If you're watching this and getting Etsy tips from YouTube or other places, you're already ahead of where I was, so know that. The next couple questions are very similar, so I'll kind of ask them together. The first one is, how did you get your page out there and known? Did it take a while? And how did you find your audience and get your first sales? It took a while for me. I was in it about 1.5 years before it finally, actually longer than that, just a little under 2 years before I finally started getting some momentum. And I talk about that, like I said, in more detail in this other video I did, how much money I make on Etsy. And I tell you the whole story. And a lot of you have found me from that video, so thank you. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. It took me a while just because I wasn't doing all the right things. And it is a slow process. This is a marathon, and your efforts, they don't seem like they work at first, but it snowballs and it'll get better. I started an Instagram page for my wreath business. That was huge, and it was very slow growing, but just that really did help my Etsy shop grow. Yes, it did take a while. My very first sales were from my neighbor and my friend, and so that's a great way. Actually, that's a really great tip if you're first starting. If you have any kind of audience at all, please make your sales through Etsy, because that will get your shop ranked higher. Yeah, and then you can also get some reviews. It will give your potential customers a reason to trust you because they see that you have some sales and possibly some good reviews too. If you have like a big Etsy launch or you start your Etsy shop, just try so hard to get all of your sales through Etsy. Don't do them on the side. Just do them through Etsy. I know it's cheaper to just do it on the side because you don't have to pay the Etsy fees, but in the long run, it will help you if you do all of your sales through Etsy. I didn't always do that, but I'm so thankful my first sales were through Etsy. My first sales through people that I knew were through Etsy. And then when I got a sale from someone I didn't know, it was so exciting. A stranger bought my wreath, and then the rest is history. With a lot of stuff in between. I'm new on Etsy. What can I do to increase my sales? Well, first, social media helps. Pinterest helps. Gosh, there's so many things. Isn't that what we all want, to increase our sales on Etsy? Like I just mentioned, if you know any people personally, make sure those sales go through Etsy. That will help out your listings. That will help out your shop a lot. Make sure everything is filled out in your shop. That will help. So, 2 things to get lots of sales. These are gonna sound obvious, but it's true. The first thing is you need people to see your listings. You need traffic. You need stuff like that. And in order to do that, you need your keywords, you need your social media, you need to have your shop sections filled out. You need to do all of those things. And then the second thing, when your listing is seen, you need to make it stand out among the others. What would make someone click on your listing above the ones around it? So you need really nice pictures. You need to have your pricing right. You need to have your shipping not scare your customers away. So once you have those things in place, that will help you get more sales. I know that's really broad, but I have a whole playlist full of Etsy tips, and I really think that will help you. Are Etsy ads worth the price? I don't know. I have never used Etsy ads. I get asked that question a lot, and I haven't used them. I don't think you need to, but if you want to, I mean, it doesn't hurt to try them out. Maybe I'll try them out in the future, but I'm already kind of slammed with sales, so I don't need any more right now, and I don't want to pay for more sales when I have enough right now. If you're talking about Etsy's off-site ads, I have no choice. I have to be in them because I make over $10,000 for my Etsy shop. If you do have a choice, think of it this way. If you have to opt in, your percentage is 15% of your sale if an ad brings a sale. So think of it this way. Would you be willing to place an item for 15% off to get a sale? If your answer is yes, do the offsite ads because you're already willing to lose 15% off the price to get a sale. So yeah, if you think of it backwards like that, I think that'll help with your decision. For me, it costs 12%. And no, I'm not usually willing to lose 12% to get a sale because most of my sales come from my best selling items. They're already ranked high. They're already optimized, so I don't have to work as hard. I've already done the work. They sell okay. Like, for example, I made 10 sales from Etsy's offsite ads within the last month, and I mean, I made a lot of sales this last month. September was my biggest month ever in the history of my shop, which is kind of crazy, and it would have been more if I would have kept some things in stock. But so 10 of those were from offsite ads, and one of the wreaths that was from the offsite ads was the one I could not keep in stock already on its own, so I was a little annoyed that I had to pay an extra 12% on the sale of a wreath that I already had no problem selling. But I've also gotten orders from offsite ads that weren't selling well, so that was nice. So it's up to you. If you have a choice, think of it that way. Would you be willing to pay 15%, or would you be willing to put your shop on sale for 15% to get sales? I hope that makes sense. What is the best way to search for good keywords for tags and titles? Etsy search? Yes, I use Etsy search to find my tags and titles. A lot of people use eRank or something like that. I've heard Marmalade's not as good. I don't know. I've heard a lot of things. I personally haven't used either of them, but I've heard good things about eRank. I don't think it's necessary. I think if you use Etsy search, you can find good keywords. And I've talked about keywords and SEO in some other videos, so I won't go into a lot of detail here, but yes, I use Etsy search. Next question. I get compliments on my wreaths in person, but no sales. Pricing is comparable. Help! So, okay, conversion rates. Let's talk about that. An average conversion rate on Etsy at least is about 1 to 3%. So if you go into your Etsy dashboard, click on your views, it'll show you your conversion rate at the top there. And I looked at mine this morning. Well, look at it over time. Like you can change the time frame that you look at it. So mine over the last month is 1.4%. So that's pretty average. Sometimes it's high. Like today's, if I just looked at today's, it's 5.6%. That is great. So When I was in a craft show a long time ago, I got so many compliments on my wreaths. It was amazing. It felt really good. They were complimenting my wreaths, but okay, and it was a very crowded show. There was tons of people. I got hundreds of compliments, but I only got 15 sales. So even though I got a lot of compliments, people loved them, not everybody's willing to pay for them. So think of it this way. For every 100 people who tell you your wreaths are beautiful, you'll probably get 1 to 3 sales. And that's normal. So don't worry, it will come. Just try to get more eyeballs on your listings, keep improving them, keep improving your pictures, things like that. I'm not sure if your question was in regards to in person. You just got to get more traffic. Do you know how to research wreath trends? What kinds of wreaths sell best on Etsy? So for me, there's a few things I do. I like to stay on top of what's popular. I mean, I love Joanna Gaines. If you love Joanna Gaines, raise your hand. And I also love Studio McGee. I always forget her first name. I love her style. So I like to see what wreaths would match their homes or the things they design. I don't know if that makes sense. What I'm trying to say is I like to stay on top of home decor trends and things like that and trending colors. Instagram helps with that a lot. I enjoy it. I think it's really fun. Like rust orange is very popular this year. It was popular last year as well. So when you're making a listing on Etsy, don't just put orange, put rust orange. It's more specific and it's a really trendy color in the fall. Also, different greeneries sell well for me. If I have a eucalyptus wreath, many different kinds, that helps rank it in Etsy. It's really popular. And lamb's ear is really popular. You can also just search. Just use Etsy search to see what is selling. If you look up here, let me show you. So if you go to Etsy search, you can do, and this is not mine, so this is just a blank search. If you want to see what's popular for wreaths, I make wreaths. I'm going to use wreaths as an example. A lot of you are asking me questions about wreaths. What kind of wreaths sell best on Etsy? So I'm going to look up, well, we're coming upon Christmas, so let's look up Christmas wreaths. And then you can also see what it autofills. Okay, so you can see just from right here, I don't pay attention to the ads, but I can, just by looking at this first page on Etsy, you can see buffalo check is still trending. So if you add a buffalo check to one of your wreaths, you can use that as a good keyword to get your wreath ranked higher. So farmhouse is still in, buffalo check, things like that. So just use Etsy. See what I have seen this buddy wreath so many places. Bunch of copycats out there. I don't know who started it, but it's so funny. Oh my goodness, that is so funny. And we'll look up fall wreaths too. Fall wreaths. I'm kind of bummed because my popular fall wreath was ranking on the first page, but it's sold out right now, so I can't show you that. But fall wreath. Let's see what's popular for fall wreath. A lot of orange. But yeah, this is a great way to see what is trending. Lots of lamb's ear with orange. Things like that. That's another great way to find more keywords as well. And let's see, let's just look up wreath. That's very broad. I think that's too broad of a search, but you can tell that a lot of seasonal wreaths are selling right now. But yeah, if you make it to the first page of Etsy, you know those listings are good and you can learn from them. Also think about your market. I think my market also loves Joanna Gaines and Studio McGee. So think about that. Bow placement and ribbon selection. So this is all personal preference. I like to put my bows on the top. I'm directionally challenged. I like to put my bow on the top left of my wreath. That's my personal preference. Most of my customers like that too, but it's up to you. Some people like it on the bottom. It really doesn't matter, honestly. I just use the pipe cleaners or wires to just tie it to the grapevine, and then you can move it if you want to or whatever. And then ribbon selection, my personal preference is to use wired ribbon that's 2 and 2.5 inches wide. That's what I like, but you can see what ribbon is trending by looking at the search results on Etsy. Obviously, buffalo check is still trending. I use buffalo check still for that reason. It's like on its 4th year, I think, of being really trendy on Etsy, so that's a good sign. I also like to just use what I like. I'll be honest. And I love plaid around Christmas time, and I think plaid is pretty popular. It's classic. And yeah, it's a great way to add color and just add a trend to your wreath. Like rust orange. Like I said, that's another popular color this year. And if you add a rust orange bow to your wreath, you can add that keyword and that might get you more seen. But I just like to use ribbon that I like and wired. I hope that answers your question. How far before a holiday or season do you list wreaths for that occasion? Do you have a yearly schedule you refer to? And I like to list wreaths 3 months before a holiday or season, or maybe even more. The reason for that is it takes Etsy about 60 to 90 days for all of your SEO keywords to really kick in and things like that. The problem is if you list it too early, you might not get sales because it's a little bit before the trend. So Etsy might think, oh, this listing's not doing well. So I don't like to list them too early. So I say about 3 months. I don't have a yearly schedule I refer to. I just kind of go off the 60 to 90 days. For example, I'm a little late getting my Christmas trees out there just because I had a hard time getting supplies this year. I had a really big order and my fall wreaths kind of like depleted my greenery. So I had to order a lot more and I just got it this week. Yay. And what I was trying to say with that is I like to list Christmas wreaths around mid-September. I don't want to tick people off for listing them too early, but I was getting requests for Christmas wreaths in August. But I think mid-September is a good time for Christmas wreaths, maybe early September, but it's now October and I am just now getting new designs out there. So I'm a little behind this year. What is the difference between multiples and one-of-a-kind wreaths in terms of design or how you make it? I know I talk about this a lot. The difference between multiples and one-of-a-kind is not necessarily how I make it, but just how I list it. My last week's video, this probably prompted your question, was making one-of-a-kind fall wreaths. And I was using leftovers because I needed to use up my supplies to make room for Christmas. Yay. I list them once and I don't list them again. So it's one-of-a-kind. And I like to do multiples because that gives and what I mean by multiples is it's a wreath that you can make multiple times over and over and over and over and over again and sell over and over and over and over again, because that is how you get ranked high in Etsy's algorithm and Etsy search. And that is how you get a bestseller. You can't get a bestseller if you only make one. And honestly, I think that is the key to becoming a full-time Etsy shop. Multiples are wreaths that you make over and over again. I make it once, I list it, and then I make them to order. I just keep the supplies on hand. And then the one-of-a-kind wreaths I usually make I make the one-of-a-kind wreaths ahead of time, take pictures, sell it, and then the listing's gone. And those are a lot harder to sell not because they aren't beautiful. They are beautiful. They're just harder to sell because they're harder to find, because new listings on Etsy don't have that listing score, and they haven't been shown on Etsy to be popular because you haven't had it on there yet. Cheaper ways to create wreaths, because I have little to no money to purchase wreath supplies right now. Are you wanting to know how to make a wreath for yourself that's cheap because you want a wreath and you just don't have money for one? Or are you wanting to sell wreaths but you don't have money to buy a lot of supplies? Because how I answer this would be very different depending on that. So, I could go in my backyard right now. I've got some beautiful Virginia creeper from my neighbor's yard covering my fence, and it's beautiful, and I can make a grapevine wreath out of that. Maybe I should make a video doing that. It'd be kind of fun. And I could get some leaves that have fallen and secure that to the wreath, and I can make a beautiful fall wreath, all from free stuff from my yard, but there's no way I would sell that. And I can't make multiples of that. I can't run a business from that. When I started my Etsy shop, I had very little money. I had no spending money, really. I was starting the Etsy shop so I could have spending money. And I went to Michael's and they had their Christmas stuff on 80% off. So I bought a bunch of that, but it was January, so I wasn't going to be able to use that. And then I spent maybe $20 buying enough supplies to make a few different wreath designs. And everything was on sale. I used coupons and all the things. I spent about $20 just on spring stuff because it was January and I wanted to get ready for spring and kind of winter. So I had like white flowers. And I had one grapevine. So I used the one grapevine and I used the florals I got to make a few different designs. And I was able to come up with 10 listings just from the $20 worth of materials. And they weren't super different, but they were just a little bit different and varied enough to get some listings on my Etsy shop. And then when those resell, or if you sell one of them, you can use that money to buy more materials and slowly build up your inventory. And that's what I would do. And if you want a really cheap wreath, you can get a hoop wreath, like a wooden embroidery hoop. You can get those on sale. Just get a coupon, get an embroidery hoop wreath. You could get it for $1 and then take the hoop wreath apart. So now you have 2 wreath frames. And then just use some simple greenery that you can get really cheap. You know what? You can even get some evergreens that are fresh and tie them to the grapevine wreath with some floral wire. And then you have a beautiful Christmas wreath, but it's fresh, so you'd have to sell it. I don't know if these ideas are helping you, but just start small, get things on a good deal, and then you can work your way up, because I totally understand starting without really any money. It's kind of scary, but you can do it. I know. Just get creative and get scrappy. And yeah, just the other day, my daughter brought home a huge handful of leaves she'd shoved in her pocket at recess at school. She's like, look what I found. And she wanted to make a wreath with it. I posted that on Instagram. It was really cute. So we basically made a wreath for her for free. We just used a little mini grapevine wreath that I got on sale. So 50 cents. Where there's a will, there's a way, and I think you can do it. I'm unsure about pricing and how many wreaths I need initially. What would you recommend for someone just starting out on Etsy? Well, I have a whole video all about pricing, and I probably can't go into any more detail here, so there's the thumbnail for it. Just go find it. And I talk all about pricing and how many wreaths you need initially. That's up to you. I mean, technically you can start with just 1 listing, but I personally started with 10. I just talked about how I did that. And yeah, I would start with 10 and go from there. I personally try to work my way up to 50. It fluctuates. Sometimes I have a hard time keeping things in stock, but I think 50 is a really good number. Different people will tell you different things. Yeah. How do I start? I have people interested, but not sure how many to make to start off. Like I just said, I'd say start with 10 and work your way up. And you can make very similar designs and just list them separately. And then you'll have enough to fill up your shop, and then just slowly add to it. And then as the season progresses, you'll get more sales and you can make more wreaths. And yeah, just grow from there. Start small and grow. It's not a race. Just make sure the people who are interested buy from your Etsy shop. I think I talked about that a little bit earlier, but funnel those people to your Etsy shop because it will help. How do you prevent burnout? Yeah, it's hard to prevent burnout this time of year because it gets really busy. But number 1, I love making wreaths. I love my job. It's so fun. I think if I didn't love it, I would get burnt out, but I love it. So like I said, first of all, you have to love it. You're going to get burnt out doing the same thing over and over and over again if you don't love it. So that helps a lot. And I tend to work too much sometimes because I love what I do. So I try to not do that as much so my family doesn't suffer. I also have to set priorities in my life so I don't burn out. Number 1, going to church. I don't care how busy I am. I will never miss church unless I'm sick or something. It definitely helps refuel me. It's great. Another thing to prevent burnout is I always have a date with my husband every week. When my kids are in school, he has a day off. He has days off during the week when they're in school. And we always have a lunch date and we go pick them up together, and it's great. Also, since I make wreaths, I will binge watch a Netflix show while I'm working, so it really doesn't feel like work. Number 1, I love making wreaths. Like I said, say it again, I love making wreaths. Sometimes I'll make more just because I'm so into the show and I don't want to watch the show while I'm not working, so I'll just keep working, and that helps a lot. And then I didn't write this one down, but you also asked, how do you get motivated to stare at your phone all day? That made me laugh. The problem is prying me away from my phone. That's so bad. I love listening to podcasts. I like listening to the Bible. Just sometimes I get burnt out listening to podcasts or watching shows and I just need a refresher. Sometimes just listening to the Bible being read, sometimes that just really refreshes me and kind of just sets my priorities, things like that. But I can do a lot while I'm making wreaths, like listening to podcasts. That gets me my business advice. It gets me books. It gets me entertainment. So I get all of that while I'm working. So I feel like that helps me not burn out. And then my husband's been really helpful when I've been busy. He's been taking the kids to school and picking them up on his days off, which has been so helpful. In the spring, when we were schooling our kids at home, and it was also a very busy season, I gave my kids more responsibilities so they can help with more. They have little areas in the house that they help clean. And then they've also learned some basic skills like how to fry an egg and things like that. They're just becoming more independent. So they've been really helpful. I haven't had to do as much in that area, so that's the best I can do. You do many things in your business, creating videos, etc. Tips for time management. Okay, so I kind of touched on this a little bit, not really, but having my kids help and my husband help has been very helpful. One thing also that I do is I like to work in bulk. So when my kids are in school, I try to get as many wreaths made as possible so that when they're home, I can be with them more and I can help them with their homework. Although when my husband has time off, he helps them a lot too so I can work more. There is a thing, I can't remember what it's called. I'll have to look it up. I don't remember the name of it, but your work fills up the time you have to do it. So if I only have 5.5 hours to make a certain amount of wreaths, I will work faster because I want to get them done before I have to get my kids from school or things like that. So if I have more time, if I haven't sold as many wreaths or something, sometimes I take longer to do them. And so if I set a time to get my stuff done, I'm usually able to do it in that time. And then focus. I feel like I love reading. So I'm going to refer to a couple books. Free to Focus, I love that book. The One Thing, and I'll link those in the description because they're really great and they're great for time management and things like that. But The One Thing is so great because there's so many things I could be doing. There's so many things to do. There's so many things I could be doing better, but I try to focus on the one thing that I need to do first that will have the biggest impact in my business. So obviously, a lot of times it's making wreaths. So a lot of days, the one thing I really need to focus on is making all my orders and doing them well. So I will do that first. If I have more time, I might post a picture on Instagram or do something like that. I could always be doing better. Another priority now is making one YouTube video a week. There's a lot I could be doing more. I have a limited amount of time, so I try to prioritize the most important things. And I try to just get one very important thing done a day. And then I have like tasks and things like that. If I finish the most important thing, I can do those other things. Oh, another time saver is my husband actually edits my videos. I would not have the time or mental energy to do all of that. He's amazing. So that's a big time saver. I don't do everything. So I try to make all my wreaths at once at night after my kids go to bed, or when we're all watching a show together or something in the living room downstairs. I will package up my orders. So I make them all at once. I package them all at once. I try to do all my social media at once, things like that. When I make new wreaths, I try to take all my pictures at once. And then when I have time later, if I'm relaxing on the couch or if I'm waiting in the pickup line at school, I will edit my listings or I will post a listing or things like that. Or if I have a lot of orders and then my back starts to hurt because I've been standing all day, but I still have wreaths to do, I will just take a break and I will like speed clean something, or I will do something where I can sit for a little bit until I feel better, and then I will finish making my wreaths. That's how I do it. Plus, I love working. I love my job. All right. How did you get so fast at making wreaths? They're full of quality, and yet it doesn't take you long. Oh, thank you. I don't think I'm that fast. Well, one thing, I make multiples. I say that so much, but it's so true. I don't have to use as much brain energy to come up with new designs because I make the same one over and over and over again. That it just becomes faster because you don't have to like change things up or move things around too much. So that does help. I also try to keep my designs more simple. Also, good quality materials makes prettier wreaths and it makes them faster. So I used to have a boxwood wreath that was really pretty and it sold really well, but it took me 2 or 3 hours to make and it wasn't worth it. So I stopped making them. I could still list them and they would sell well, but it just wasn't worth it to me. And I actually have some other wreaths that kind of take me a long time and I've considered taking them off, but I think that would hurt my Etsy shop because they bring me a lot of traffic. It's my eucalyptus wreath. I have a mini one that sells really well. It's like a candle ring and oh, that thing is tedious. And so are the bigger ones, but it's so cute and it sells really well. So I just leave it there. And those half moon wreaths that I've made, the ones that show like the grapevine and the greenery on the side and the bow, those are just easy to make. You make a bow, you put some greenery, some stuff on the side, and you're done. Those only take like 15 minutes to a half hour, and it's so nice having those because then you can get through your orders a lot faster. Most wreaths take me maybe up to an hour to make, so I don't think I'm that fast. Also, I've been making them a long time now, and so I guess I get faster the more you do it. Like I can make a bow a lot faster than I used to. Oh man, when I first made a bow, my classic bow that you've seen me make, there's a link in the description if you haven't picked up that bow tutorial yet. Gotta plug that, right? Oh man, I used to struggle. I remember I first made it and it took me forever. I think I tried 5 different times and it felt so awkward, but now it's really easy. You can just whip them up really quick. So I guess practice makes you go faster. The next question came in right before I started filming this, so you got it just in time. How do you keep track of how much you've spent on supplies for tax purposes? I use QuickBooks Self-Employed. It's an app on my phone and it's so nice. I also keep my receipts in a shoebox. But I don't have to. So I like, this is not a plug or anything, this is just what I use. It's so nice because I use one card and I have a business bank account. I use one card and it automatically goes in my QuickBooks Self-Employed and you can categorize everything. So it's so nice. And you can also take pictures of your receipts. So with your purchase, so it's super easy to keep track of all your receipts. It keeps track of your gas, mileage, all the things. It's awesome. And there's so many different categories. So, and you can set up automatic categories. So whenever I buy something from Michael's, it automatically knows that goes into supplies. If I buy something from a different place, like I'm in a membership group that helps with business and that has a monthly fee, and every time my card is charged, it automatically goes into my subscriptions category. And you can set these things up to be categorized automatically. You can do it manually. It's so nice. And also, if you have an accountant, you can give your login or whatever to your accountant so they can see it too. Not your login, but you can share it all with your CPA or whatever, which is really nice. So yeah, that kind of organizes and keeps track of everything because that's like that's one of the biggest headaches for me. I'm not a fan and I'm not an accountant, so don't take any advice from me. It's really easy to use. I love it. And it also reminds you of your quarterly taxes. It gives you profit loss statements. I have my Etsy stuff automatically go in there. It's really nice. And it has all my Etsy stuff categorized as income, and it has all my card stuff as expenses, and then it's all categorized in different things, and it's fantastic. I love it, and it's really cheap. So when I first, I have a link. I'll put it in the description, and that will get you half off the price, which is, it's already not expensive, but that'll be like $5 a month. So I highly recommend it. So I'm not affiliate for them or anything. Well, I guess my link is an affiliate link, but I'm not paid or anything by them, but I just really like them. Anyway, I hope that helps. Whew, thank you guys so much for all the questions. This was really fun, interesting. Let me know if you want me to do any more of these, or if I talked about something that you want more info on that I could do maybe a whole video on. I have this channel to help you guys, and yeah, that was really fun. I'll have to do this more often. All right, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't done that already, and I will leave those links that I talked about in the description below. And yeah, let me know if this was helpful, what was the most helpful for you, and also if you have any other questions, feel free to ask. I love helping you guys out. All right, I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.